Hello everybody and welcome to today's review of Barbie. It is the new film directed by Greta Gerwig starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. We are first introduced to Barbie in her own little world called Barbie Land, a matriarchal society that is primarily populated with a bunch of Barbie and Ken dolls. Every Barbie in Barbie Land is relishing in the fact that they've served as an inspiration to women in the real world, and she has found success in every occupation she has ever tried, whether it be a doctor, a lawyer, a fireman, policeman, writer, astronaut, even a president. And Ken, well, the Ken dolls are basically there to be the supportive boyfriend, always cheering Barbie on and staying off to the side while they partake in a bunch of recreational activities. There's not really much to Ken, to be honest. And now, this is where the plot can get a little bit complicated, so bear with me. Apparently, there is a spiritual connection between Barbie Land and the real world. So when stereotypical Barbie, played by Margot Robbie, starts experiencing feelings of depression and death, it is clear that something is wrong with her owner in the real world. So Barbie, along with her boyfriend Ken, played by Ryan Gosling, head over to the real world to try to solve the problem. But once they get to the real world, they immediately realize that not everybody sees Barbie as this inspirational symbol of womanhood. In fact, there are those who look down on Barbie as a symbol of consumerism and actually hate the fact that she has set unrealistic standards for women. That's when Barbie goes through this whole existential crisis, and from then on, we see her and Ken go on this journey of self-discovery. Now, for a long time, I have been curious to see how Warner Brothers was going to create a live-action film based on this one doll that has been a pop cultural icon since before I was born. And now that I've seen the film, here are my thoughts on the movie. First of all, the production quality in this film is outstanding. When you look at the set of Barbie Land, I mean, the whole thing looks and feels like it's the actual Toyland that has been overblown to scale. And as for the costume design and the hair and makeup, obviously this goes without saying, it's all great. I could definitely foresee a couple of Oscar nominations within these three categories in the future. And also, you could not have cast this film any better. Margot Robbie is Barbie. Not only does she look the part, I mean, look at her, she's a dead ringer, but also she was able to embody all different kinds of emotions to this otherwise plastic character. I mean, this is something that she has done before, and she has really established herself as one of the best actresses working in the business. And Barbie is just another highlight to her career. And speaking of highlights, Ryan Gosling as Ken, he was brilliant in the role. Not only does he sing and dance, but he also has excellent comedic timing. And I also want to make a special shout out to Issa Rae, who played President Barbie. Now, out of all the Barbies in Barbie Land, and there are a lot, she was my personal favorite because she is just so funny. And speaking of funny, yeah, this film does have a lot of funny parts to it. Most of it was aimed directly towards Barbie and Mattel. I still don't understand how Greta Gerwig was able to get away with so many self-deprecating jokes in the movie. And I applaud Greta Gerwig especially for telling this story in a very unconventional way. With its deep dark themes and its colorful palette, this could have easily been directed by someone like Wes Anderson. However, I do have quite a few issues with this film. There are a lot of funny parts to this film that genuinely made me laugh, but there was a whole other part of the film that I just could not laugh at. And that happens mainly when Barbie and Ken enter the real world. That's when the comedy started to feel flat, and it's mostly because of the performances or the way that it was written. Now, don't get me wrong, every actor does a good job in this film, and they do serve the material. They just needed better material. And the direction could have used a tweak here and there. And that's another thing that I want to talk about. Greta Gerwig does in this film what she did in her previous film, Little Women, and what she did in that film also bothered me in this film. She was having trouble finding a balance between the comedy and the drama. Whenever there's a scene or a line of dialogue that is supposed to be funny, a lot of the times it comes out as forced and artificial. But whenever we come to a dramatic scene, all of a sudden the acting becomes much more grounded. And I kept thinking to myself, why couldn't the whole movie be like this? I think Greta Gerwig should do more dramas in the future. I could definitely see her finding a lot of success in that arena, because this film feels very unbalanced to me. Not only because of the comedy and the drama, but also because there were a lot of characters and plot elements that just did not work for me. For example, Will Ferrell plays the CEO of Mattel in this movie, and this is where it gets kind of weird. His goal is to take Barbie while she's in the real world and put her in a box, like an actual toy packaging box, as a way to prevent her from causing any more trouble with Mattel. And when she escapes back to Barbie Land, Will Ferrell and a bunch of other corporate heads follow her there. Then he disappears for a long period of time. And then when he actually reappears, I found myself thinking, oh yeah, yeah, I totally forgot you were in this movie. He really did not feel important to this movie at all. And yet he was supposed to be one of the main antagonists. It just didn't work. And also there's another storyline in the movie that involves a mother and a daughter. When you first see these two characters, they couldn't agree on anything. They fight all the time, and when it comes to Barbie, they have totally conflicting opinions. But apparently all it took to fix that rift was to go on this journey with Barbie into Barbie Land, and suddenly their relationship was fixed. Just like that. That felt totally unearned to me, which is a bummer because Greta Gerwig has tackled a mother and daughter relationship before in her directorial debut, Lady Bird. Even after watching Barbie, I still feel that Lady Bird is a far more superior film. And lastly, I'll say this, and I'm gonna be very careful with my words here. The movie is told from a very specific perspective, and we are stuck in that sort of mindset throughout the whole film. Not everybody sees Barbie the way Greta Gerwig did, and in my opinion, the film doesn't offer the audience a lot of counterpoints to that view, which to me kind of rendered the film a bit narrow. Have you ever heard the phrase, show, don't tell? Well, Barbie is a showy film, but it also tells you a lot. Eventually, this film became a message movie. I was literally spoon-fed everything on a silver platter. This is definitely a feminist movie, and it's definitely targeted towards a certain group of people. If you're not the target audience, I can see you getting pissed off. Now, I didn't get pissed off. I was just getting really annoyed with how preachy it was. And unfortunately, the filmmakers made it easy for anybody to misconstrue this film as a man-hating propaganda piece. So overall, I'd say that Barbie is a mixed bag for me. On the one hand, you can call it a very preachy feminist movie with inconsistencies when it comes to plot and character developments. But on the other hand, I was still very entertained by this movie. The production quality is outstanding, the performances are excellent, and it does have a lot of important things to say about identity, authenticity, individuality, and it does paint a good portrait of how men and women can feel pressured into maintaining certain societal standards. And originally, I was going to give this movie a C+, but there's something that happened at the end of the film that really resonated with me. I did not expect to get that emotional watching this movie. So because of that, I'm going to give Barbie a B-. Thank you for watching my video, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again next time.